When I first learned the facts about early trauma and the way it often affects adults, I didn't know whether to be overjoyed or angry. I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy. Now, I say overjoyed because this new emerging research explained me so precisely. The symptoms I always knew were from trauma, and some new ones I had no idea were related to things that happened to me in the past. And that was a relief. It means that it's not my fault. But I was angry too, because all my life I'd sought help, and never did I get professional help that made a positive difference. More often than not, I felt judged, I felt misunderstood, and sometimes I left appointments much more scared and sad than when I'd walked in the door. But it turns out just about everything they used to think about trauma and the way that it should be treated was wrong. I wasn't the only one who wasn't helped. Thousands of people, maybe you, who watch this channel have told me the same thing. Years of therapy, grinding them down, feeling judged, not helped, feeling broken, hopeless, cutting themselves off from people in a last-ditch attempt to just handle life with the symptoms we now know are normal for people who went through what we went through. These are symptoms that can, it turns out, be improved or even healed. And by luck, I stumbled into techniques that worked for me. They worked so well, in fact, that I've made a career of sharing what I learned with other survivors of childhood trauma. And at first I thought I was using some kind of like folk technique. It was like half powered by a pencil, half by my own magical thinking. And it was just a fluke that I confided in someone back when I was at my low point in 1994. It was a woman who had this amazing recovery from alcoholism, it turns out. That wasn't my particular problem. But she had also recovered on all other levels because of some techniques that were shown to her by a stranger. So that her techniques got the same results in me, I chalked it up to like a spiritual phenomenon, a miracle. And I just sort of put it in that category because there were no other explanations for how such simple techniques could make any difference at all. And it was spiritual, and I still see it that way. But when something is true, it's going to hold up to scrutiny on the spiritual level as well as other levels. So in 2014, new research came out, in particular in the book The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, and I'll put the link to that below. The research showed a scientific basis for everything that I was already doing that was helping me. And I've always been a big reader, but I was floored when I first read this information to learn the true causes of childhood PTSD symptoms, and then the huge range of problems that flow from those. Things no one had any idea were trauma-related, but now we know. Things that we got judged for, things everyone just thought was laziness or willfulness or self-pity or antisocial behavior, they're just common symptoms. They're common. And we didn't cause them. They're not our fault at all. And in fact, these symptoms are normal things that follow the experience of childhood abuse and neglect. So all that therapy I did, looking at why do I keep making these self-destructive choices? Why can't I be happy? Why do I only ever take 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back? Of course it didn't work. It couldn't work. It's not my fault, and it's not your fault, and it's not the therapist's fault. We didn't know. But now we know. Not all therapists know, but it is known. And the more you learn about it, the more you're going to be able to access real help and take up techniques and principles that help you heal and change. Now, you've seen this information in bits and pieces on my YouTube videos and in my courses, but last week I released a 25-minute webinar that gives a full summary in a single video, and I'm putting a link to it in the description section below. It's free, and I hope you'll watch the whole thing. As always, I put links after the webinar and below every video to my courses where you can learn what to do with this information. I have courses that you can choose. So if you think at all that you're affected by trauma, I'm going to suggest you just watch the webinar about the myths and realities around childhood trauma and see if it applies to you. Now, I'm working on a whole set of new programs for you this fall, a new course, a big new coaching program, and finally a book that summarizes what I teach, kind of a manifesto of my radical principles along with the techniques. And these might fly in the face of everything you've been taught, but I teach you how I recovered and how you can follow in this powerful path, whether or not you have access to good professional help. And I'll be announcing every program as it is released. And if you want to get in on that, be sure that you're subscribed to my channel and be sure that you're enrolled in something with me on my mailing list. It could be a course or the membership program or this free webinar I'm sharing with you today. Those will all get you on the list and you'll get an announcement. But this is what I want to tell you. You can do this, all right? Healing is possible. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, and do not give up. It's not your fault that you were traumatized as a kid. And the great news is you own your healing. And you can start taking steps toward that today, in this hour, in this minute even. So you can click on things below if you like, and I will see you next week.